He wrapped the woman's head, and then divided the broken pieces of meat and organs into small jars and sealed them. Finally, he put the head on a plate full of fruit. So they started their blood feast. The night was quiet on the island of Rosen. Today we are talking about the Russian couple. September 2017. Location: Russian Krasnodar. On this day, a road construction worker was working. Suddenly he found a mobile phone lying quietly on the ground. Before he had time to think, he walked over and picked up the phone. Out of curiosity, the worker opened the photo album of the phone and wanted to see what photos were in it. What surprised him was that the moment he opened the photo album, he was already a few decades younger. The photo album is a variety of human organs that have been dissected. There is also a very scary selfie. A man has a big mouth and a chopped hand in his mouth. The worker, who had already been scared into a grandson, quickly picked up the phone. He wanted to calm down. It's just that he just raised his head and saw a face that would make him unforgettable. The man in the photo stood in front of him and asked, "Have you seen my phone?" The worker was about to become a courtier, but in this case, he could only pretend to be calm and say that he was just here. After taking the man away, he turned around without hesitation and ran to the police station. After the police learned of the situation, they immediately investigated the phone. They first confirmed the identity of the owner of the phone through a mobile phone card. He is a local who currently lives in a community in the Krasnodar base. The police quickly sent people to search Dmitri's house. But what surprised the police was that they walked into a dormitory. It was clearly a slaughterhouse. After the search, the police found a woman's corpse without a head and a lot of meat. There were some sealed cans on the shelf. There were some shattered pieces of meat inside. After a while, it was confirmed that all the cans were made of human flesh. In addition to all kinds of meat, the police also found 78 dried-up bodies frozen by a branch in the freezer. In addition, the police also found a photo book that showed all kinds of human organs. One of the photos was a head that had been cut off and placed on a plate full of fruit. Finally, the police found that these photos had a date of the photographer. And what was shocking was that the earliest photo was taken in 1999. This means that this couple may have been murdering and killing people for nearly 20 years. At first, Dmitri firmly denied that he killed the woman without a head. He claimed that the corpse was picked up and brought home. He just took a few photos. He also said that the corpse's head was in the trash can at the door. Let the police find it themselves. However, when he learned that his wife had been arrested, he began to explain their crime. According to him, he and his wife have killed more than 30 people in total over the years. Natalia is 7 years older than Dmitri. Maybe it's because they have the same hobby. So when they first met, they were attracted to each other's perverted temperament. This is probably the smell of the same head. Soon, they established a relationship. At first, they just shared pictures of all kinds of perverts to satisfy their mental madness. But as time went by, those photos were confiscated by the perverts. They couldn't be interested in it at all. It slowly became tasteless. So they decided after watching some videos of the dead, why not experience the fun of it in person? Then they started their hunt. They first used various dating sites. They asked those lonely single men and single women out. Then at the date, they brought the victims back to their home. Then they killed, shredded, and ate the meat that was left. They would make canned food and distribute it to neighbors or colleagues. In addition to making meat pancakes, Dmitri would also go to the nearby restaurant. He asked the boss of the restaurant about the price of meat. He seemed to want to supply the rest of the meat to the restaurant. He asked the boss of the restaurant about the price of meat. He seemed to want to supply the rest of the meat to the restaurant. In addition to eating the meat that was cut off, the couple would also keep some of the victims' bodies. They made all kinds of handicrafts with bones or other remaining parts. Even the decorations in the house were made in this way. After the police arrested the two, they locked Dmitri in a solitary cell. Because if he was locked up with other criminals, he would be beaten to death. And his wife was also sentenced to death by other criminals. It can be seen that even those criminals can't see such a perverted couple. And the cruelty to the couple is basically the same as the type of pig, wolf, and horse crazy I have seen. They are different from those perverts in the past. They have never experienced any perverted family when they were young. Their behavior is just because they like it. And because they like it, they do such a cruel thing. What is the fighter in the pervert?